We can't let them take it!
Then we fight. Together. Now! The storm tests us, but we stand united.
Together we will see the dawn.
The Girl in the Rain. The night the vampire prince first saw her. She was bleeding in the rain. Not because she had done something wrong. Not because she deserved it. But because the world had decided she was invisible. And he, the future vampire king, was not supposed to care. Thunder rolled across the human city. High above, on the roof of an abandoned cathedral, stood a teenage vampire prince. Cold, pale, silent. His name was Lucien. 17 in human years. 2 centuries in blood. Beside him stood his father, the reigning vampire king. "You are not here to feel," his father said calmly. "You are here to observe." Below them, humans rushed through rain-soaked streets, unaware that predators watched from above. The king's voice was emotionless. "Humans are fragile. They break easily. Never attach yourself to something that dies." Lucien nodded. But then, he saw her. She couldn't have been older than 16. Thin hoodie. Torn shoes. Holding a small paper bag of bread. 3 boys cornered her in the alley. They laughed. Pushed her. The bread fell into a puddle. Lucien felt something strange inside his chest. The king didn't move. "Humans hurt each other," his father said. "That is their nature." But then, instead of crying, the girl picked up the soaked bread and handed half of it to a stray dog shivering under a box. She smiled at the animal, even while trembling, even while humiliated. Lucien's breath caught. "Father, why would she give away food when she has none?" The king's eyes narrowed slightly. "That is weakness." But Lucien knew. It didn't look like weakness. It looked like strength. That night, when they returned to the vampire kingdom, Lucien could not sleep. The kingdom beneath the mountains was magnificent. Black marble halls. Silver torches burning with cold flame. Guards kneeling at every corridor. Yet none of it mattered. He kept seeing her smile in the rain. Vampires do not dream. But he did. 3 nights later, Lucien disobeyed his father for the first time. He returned to the human city alone. He found her sleeping behind a bakery, curled beside warm air vents. Her hands were scratched. Her face tired. He stepped closer. Her scent hit him. And something terrifying happened. He didn't want her blood. He wanted her safe. That had never happened before. The next day, he watched from shadows as she worked outside a small cafe. She wiped tables, accepted insults from customers, smiled anyway. He overheard someone call her name. "Amara. Amara." He whispered it like a secret. Amara was homeless because her parents had died in a factory accident. The company had denied responsibility. No compensation. No justice. She had fought. She had written letters. She had protested. No one listened. Yet she still helped others. Shared food. Protected younger street kids. She was invisible to the world. But not to him. One night, the same boys returned. But this time, they were crueler. They cornered her again. She fought back. Brave. Alone. Lucien felt something snap inside him. Before he could think, he moved. Too fast for human eyes. The boys fell unconscious. He stood between her and danger. For the first time, she saw him. Tall. Pale. Silver-eyed. Not human. Not normal. "Who are you?" she whispered. He hesitated. "A traveler." She should have been afraid. But she wasn't. Instead, she said softly, "You smell familiar." His heart stopped. Days turned into weeks. He visited every night. Spoke little. Listened more. She told him about injustice. About hunger. About unfair systems. About how people with power never see people like her. He never told her he was royalty. He never told her he had power beyond imagination. But slowly, he began to question his own world. Why did vampires hide? Why did they rule from shadows? Why did his father preach superiority? Amara once said, "Power should protect, not control." The words stayed with him. One night, under broken streetlights, she looked at him differently. "I don't know who you are," she said. "But when you're near, I feel safe." He tried to step back. But she stepped forward. "I think I love you." The world went silent. For a vampire, love is dangerous. For a prince, it is forbidden. He felt fear for the first time in his long life. Because if she loved him, she would eventually discover what he was. And if she discovered her own bloodline, everything would burn. Back in the vampire kingdom, the king stood before ancient stone walls. A prophecy glowed faintly. When the heir's heart binds to the hunter's blood, the throne shall drown in war. The king closed his eyes. "My son, what have you done?" Cut to black. The night Amara almost died, Lucian realized something terrifying. Her blood did not call to him like prey. It burned him. And somewhere far beneath the vampire kingdom, an ancient seal cracked open. Rain fell again over the city. Lucian stood outside the small cafe where Amara worked. But tonight something felt wrong. The air was heavier. Sharper. Like a warning. Across the street, a black car idled quietly. Inside it sat two men. Watching her. Not normal men. Their eyes were too still. Their posture too trained. Lucian's instincts flared. Predators. But not vampires. Amara stepped into the alley to throw trash. One of the men followed. Lucian moved instantly. But before he reached her, the man grabbed her wrist. And something impossible happened. A faint golden symbol flashed beneath her skin. The man recoiled like he had touched fire. Lucian froze. Golden light. Not human. Not vampire. Something older. Amara stared at her wrist in confusion. "Did you see that?" she whispered when Lucian appeared. He lied. No. But his mind was racing. Deep underground, ancient stone walls trembled. An elder vampire collapsed to his knees. The hunter bloodline, it stirs. The king rose slowly from his throne. Impossible. They were eradicated centuries ago. But the prophecy carved into obsidian began glowing faintly. When the heir binds his heart to the last light, the throne shall tremble. The king's voice turned cold. Find the girl. Lucian returned to the city before dawn. He watched Amara sleep behind the bakery again. He was shaking. Not from hunger. From fear. He had studied history. He knew about the hunters. Humans chosen by ancient energy. Their blood could weaken vampires. Their touch could wound royalty. Their existence threatened the entire kingdom. And if she was the last one, then loving her was not rebellion. It was treason. The next day, Amara was fired from the cafe. The owner accused her of stealing tips. She hadn't. Lucian watched from across the street. Her shoulders slumped. But she didn't argue. Instead, she helped another worker keep their job. "You need it more than I do," she said gently. Lucian's chest tightened. His father ruled through fear. She survived through kindness. Which one was truly powerful? That night, she confronted him. "You disappear sometimes," she said softly. "Like you're afraid of me." He stepped back instinctively. "You shouldn't trust me." She laughed lightly. "Why? Are you secretly dangerous?" His silence lasted too long. Her smile faded slightly. But she stepped closer anyway. "When I'm near you, my heart beats faster." His breath caught. That was impossible. Vampire presence usually slows human heartbeat. Unless her blood was resisting him. Adapting, the men from the car returned. But this time they were prepared. Silver-edged weapons. Strange ancient symbols carved into blades. They weren't normal hunters. They were looking for her. "Confirm the mark," one whispered. They attacked. Lucian moved faster than human sight. But when a blade nicked Amara's arm, golden energy burst outward. A shockwave threw everyone back. Lucian hit a wall. The hunters retreated immediately. "Report to the order." "It's her. Her. Not just a random girl. The girl." Amara stared at her glowing wrist. "What is happening to me?" Lucian knew he should walk away. This was the moment to protect his kingdom. To obey his father. Instead, he stepped closer. And for the first time, he told half the truth. "There are things in this world that humans don't know about." Her eyes searched his. "And you're one of them." He didn't answer. But he didn't deny it either. Back in the throne hall, the king summoned his generals. If the hunter bloodline survives, she must be eliminated. An elder hesitated. "The prince is frequently absent." The king's gaze darkened. "Watch him." Later that night, Amara sat on the rooftop of an abandoned building. Lucian beside her. City lights flickering below. "Do you believe destiny exists?" she asked. He looked at her carefully. "In my world, destiny is law." She smiled faintly. "In mine, it's something you fight against." She rested her head on his shoulder. He stiffened at first. Then slowly allowed it. Her warmth didn't weaken him. It calmed him. And that terrified him more than anything. In a hidden underground chamber beneath the city, an ancient hunter relic began glowing. A voice echoed through empty stone halls. "The last blood awakens." Back in the kingdom, the king whispered coldly, "If my son chooses her, he chooses war." Cut to black. The night the vampire king discovered the truth. He did not roar. He did not threaten. He simply said, "If you choose her, you are no longer my son." And that was far more terrifying. Deep within the obsidian throne hall, Lucian stood before his father. The chamber was massive, pillars carved with ancient battles, silver flames burning without heat. Lucian walked out of the throne hall alone. Stripped of title. Stripped of protection. But not of love. Above the city, lightning cracked. Hunters gathered in silence. Vampire generals sharpened ancient weapons. The king stood at the highest balcony of the kingdom. If he protects her, he stands against us. Far below, Lucian whispered into the night, "I choose her." And somewhere in the city, Amara whispered back, "Then I choose you." The prophecy stone shattered. War had not begun. But it was no longer avoidable. Cut to black. The king held a fragment of prophecy stone. It glowed faint gold. The hunter bloodline lives, the king said calmly. And you are near her. Lucian did not deny it. Silence stretched. You forget yourself, the king continued. Humans die. Hunters kill. Kings endure. Lucian's jaw tightened. She is not our enemy. The king's eyes turned cold. She was born to be. The king rose slowly from his throne. You think this is about love? This is about survival. He stepped closer. If she awakens fully, she can weaken our bloodline. Lucian's voice lowered. Then perhaps we deserve to be weakened. The entire court gasped. The king's power flared, but he restrained it. You will end this, he said. Or I will. Back in the city, Amara's life worsened. The cafe owner spread rumors. She was refused work everywhere. Shelters turned her away. Yet she still shared food with street children. One night, she found a younger girl crying near the train station. Instead of thinking about herself, she stayed with her. Lucian watched from shadows. He had ruled kingdoms in training. But she ruled hearts without power. And that shook him. The Order of Hunters made their move. They approached Amara not as enemies, but as protectors. A woman in a dark coat stepped forward. You have questions about what you are. Amara froze. What I am? The woman showed her an ancient symbol, identical to the one glowing on her wrist. You are the last of a bloodline created to balance monsters. Amara shook her head. I don't want to fight anyone. The woman's voice softened. War doesn't ask what you want. That night, Lucian could not lie anymore. He found her on the rooftop again. Wind cold. City quiet. I am not human, he said finally. She didn't look surprised. I know. He stared at her. You do? She nodded. When you stand in sunlight, it feels like you're pretending. When you disappear, I feel it in my chest. He swallowed. I am a vampire. Not just any vampire. I am heir to a throne. Silence. He expected fear. She stepped closer. And? He almost broke. And your blood was meant to kill mine. For the first time. She looked shaken. Amara's voice trembled slightly. So what happens now? Lucian answered honestly. If my father finds you before I do, he will not hesitate. And if your people come for you? She asked. He looked at her with painful clarity. I will not let them hurt you. Her eyes searched his. Even if it means losing everything? He hesitated. Then nodded. Yes. Back in the throne hall. The king spoke to the generals. If the prince defies us publicly, he will be stripped of title. A murmur rippled through the court. One general whispered. He risks civil division. The king replied coldly. Then let the kingdom learn what happens to weak rulers. Lucian returned to the kingdom, and this time, he did not sneak. He walked straight into court. I will not harm her, he declared. Gasps echoed. The king stood. You choose a human over your blood? I choose what is right. The king's voice turned thunderous. She is hunter blood. Lucian met his gaze. She is also kind. She protects the weak. She bleeds for strangers. The king's power flared. Then you are no longer my heir. Silence crushed the hall. But Lucian did not kneel. At that same moment, in the city, the hunter mark burned brighter. Amara collapsed to her knees as memories not her own flooded her mind. Ancient battles. Vampire kings falling. Hunters sacrificing themselves. A voice whispered inside her. "You are the balance." Tears streamed down her face. She didn't want to be balance. She just wanted him. The first time Amara used her power, she wasn't trying to fight. She was trying to save him. And that is what started the war. The king made his move. Not loudly. Not publicly. A silent capture mission. 3 elite royal vampires entered the city. Their goal: bring the girl alive. Eliminate resistance. Lucian sensed them instantly. He reached Amara seconds before they did. "You have to run," he told her. "I'm tired of running," she whispered. The vampires attacked. Lucian fought them, but he was outnumbered. One blade, ancient silver, pierced his shoulder. He staggered. Amara saw his blood. Dark. Not human. Something inside her exploded. Golden light erupted from her skin. A shockwave blasted the attackers backward. Lucian stared at her in shock. She had chosen. Not hunters. Not vampires. Him. The Order of Hunters summoned Amara. They did not kneel. They did not threaten. They offered truth. "Your blood was designed to weaken vampire royalty," the leader said. "You can end their reign." Amara shook her head. "I won't kill him." The room fell silent. "If you refuse," the leader warned, "war will consume humans too." That struck her. Injustice. Power imbalance. Hidden rulers controlling from shadows. She looked up slowly. "What if balance doesn't mean destruction?" she asked. No one had ever suggested that before. Within the vampire ranks, a trusted general made a secret alliance with radical hunters. He believed the king had grown weak. He believed Lucian's love would destroy them. So he chose chaos. He leaked Lucian's location. And that night, rain poured. Lightning cracked. Hunters on rooftops. Vampires in shadows. Lucian stood in front of Amara. "I won't let them take you." She stepped beside him. "You don't have to protect me alone." The battle erupted. No gore. No brutality. But power clashed with light. Lucian fought his own kind. Amara shielded humans caught in crossfire. And in that moment, everyone saw the truth. She was not destruction. She was protection. Drop of blood. The king arrives. The sky darkened unnaturally. The king descended. Silence fell. He looked at Lucian. "You have torn the kingdom apart." Lucian stood bleeding but unbowed. "No. I exposed its fear." The king turned to Amara. "You were born to end us." She met his gaze. "No. I was born to end cruelty." Golden light flared. But not toward the king. Toward the sky. Toward the battlefield. It dissolved weapons. It weakened rage. It forced both sides back. Both armies arrived at once. Back in the throne hall. The king was informed. She used full activation power. The court grew restless. Some elders whispered, "If she bonds with him, she may not destroy us." Others argued, "She is our extinction." For the first time, the kingdom was divided. And the king realized something dangerous. This was no longer just about blood. It was about loyalty. The prophecy had been misunderstood for centuries. The hunter's blood was never meant to destroy the throne. It was meant to purify it. The shattered prophecy stone revealed hidden words beneath. When love binds darkness to light, the throne shall fall and rise anew. The king stared at it. For centuries, they had feared the wrong future. Lucian stepped forward. We don't have to rule through fear. Amara added softly. Power should protect. The same words she had spoken long ago. The king looked at his son. For the first time. Not as heir, but as something greater. The traitor general attempted one last strike. Lucian intercepted him. Instead of killing him, he disarmed him. Fear created this, Lucian said. Not her. The king watched carefully. Strength without cruelty. Power without domination. That was something new. The king slowly removed his crown. Gasps echoed. He did not kneel. But he lowered his head slightly toward his son. Perhaps, evolution is not weakness. He turned to Amara. If you stand beside him, the throne changes. She took Lucian's hand. I don't want power. Lucian smiled faintly. Then we'll use it for others. The hunter order hesitated. Then lowered their weapons. A fragile truce formed. Not perfect. Not simple. But hopeful. At sunrise, Lucian stood beside Amara on the highest rooftop. I almost lost you, he whispered. She smiled. You were never meant to lose me. He looked at her carefully. Does my touch still scare you? She intertwined her fingers with his. No. The golden mark faded into something gentle. Not a weapon. A bond. Far below, humans walked freely. Vampires no longer hunted in fear. The throne had not fallen. It had changed. And love had rewritten destiny. Fade to black.
The world awaits us.
Together we will face it.
Yes, our journey begins.